Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining this morning. My name is Paulo, and I will be leading us in meditation this morning. Let's start out with our aspiration, if that's okay. May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings always be pain-free and live happily. May no beings ever cling to those near nor spurn those far. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. So we open our meditation sessions and, oftentimes pretty much as a group, but, like at home, I would encourage you to start out with something similar of an aspiration, right? Most Buddhist traditions, at least all Buddhist traditions that I know of, especially Mahayana Buddhist, the Great Vehicle, focus on, we're not just meditating to feel good about ourselves, right? It goes beyond that. I had a teacher years ago call it the Great Switcheroo of Buddhism, right? We all start out, I want to be less neurotic, I want to be less unhappy, and then somewhere along the line it's like, you're doing it for everybody else too. But at the end of the day, I think that is the motivation why we come to what keeps coming back. I think selfish intent sometimes just runs its course over time, but when we're wanting to do it for the benefit of all sentient beings, that has an extra oomph to it. So, I don't know. I like to think about these things. I think motivation really drives ultimately where we're going. So that's kind of my 5-second pitch on why we have an aspiration. Anyhow, we'll be meditating this morning, and I see a lot of familiar faces, but for those of you who haven't heard my spiel, what is meditation, right? Meditation is the practice of, at least in our context, is practicing paying attention to one thing for a prolonged period of time of your choosing, right? Every day we pay attention for prolonged periods of time for things that are not our choosing. Think about doom scrolling, right? Or the news, or whatever that might be for you that hooks you and pulls you in a direction that you may or may not have chosen, or at least maybe not chosen for an hour or whatever, that ends up happening to you, that, we just fall into this fog. So what we're practicing here is the opposite, is we're regaining our choice, our freedom to direct our attention to a place of our choosing. Why does that matter? Why is that impactful? I figure you're all here, so you've at least put some thought into why that matters to you, but I think it was Thich Nhat Hanh that said, the most precious thing you can give to your loved ones is your attention, right? How often are we interacting with our friends or family, our loved ones, and our brain is somewhere else. We're thinking about the news, we're thinking, but how does it feel? Go back to a time when somebody really paid attention to what you were saying to them. It feels really nice. It's really warm. We feel seen. So that's a really nice thing to be able to do for others. Also just, I think of reclaiming my attention as an act of rebellion, an act of defiance in a world that wants to control of our attention and monetize our attention. Something as simple as having the ability to choose how you use your attention and where you're directed is very powerful. So that's why I meditate. But I encourage you to think about why you meditate. If nothing else, it'll keep coming. It'll be easier to come back to meditation when you know why you're meditating. So be clear about it. Anyway, the meditation specifically we'll do, we'll be paying attention to our breath as the object of meditation. So breath is really neat because it's always with us if we're alive and have a human body. So you can always come to that, 30 seconds, 1 minute in the middle of the day when you're feeling frazzled. You can always come to your breath and pay attention to that and ground yourself. So that's, it's an easy object to pay attention to. And then we'll pay attention to a sound, the sound hung, which is related to the Buddha's mind, the enlightened mind, the awakened mind, the syllable hung, H-U-N-G. And we'll just chant it for about 2 minutes. I'll kind of give you the cues. But it's just another object, maybe a little bit more dynamic, maybe a little bit, more subtle. Just see how you feel with the hung practice. Just pay attention to that. Anyhow, I'll stop talking and we can meditate. And bring your mind, your attention home to the sensations in your body. Noticing the breath, maybe at the tip of the nose, maybe as the lungs expand and contract, maybe a little bit further down as your belly expands, really at the root of your breath, which starts at the do, or the muladhara. 4 fingers width down from your navel and 4 fingers width in. And just noticing your breath and how it feels in your body. And as your attention now inhabits your body, trying to find a comfortable but alert sitting position. I like to move back and forth, side to side, until I find a place where both my sit bones are about the same amount of pressure on my seat. If you're sitting on a chair, plant both your feet down, feeling stable through there. And then stacking your vertebra one on top of each other, the way coins would stack on each other. There's a tiny little bit of effort to keep your back straight, but it shouldn't be strainful. It's effort without strain. And your cervical spine, your neck, you're tucking your chin a little bit so it's straighter. It's almost like there's a string on top of your head, keeping your spine straight. Noticing if your jaw is clenched and just bringing a little bit of space between your teeth. As you exhale, letting your shoulders drop away from your ears. You're tightening your belly, letting your belly out. And just generally finding a comfortable place of relaxation. Noticing how the earth supports us in her gravitational embrace, in her electromagnetic blanket that keeps us safe from negative radiation. But just feeling into how the gravity just holds us here without expecting anything from us. Feeling supported by this planet that keeps us alive. And noticing the support that your bones and your ligaments provide you, the ability to sit, to hold yourself up, and just feeling supported by your skeletal structure. And then noticing that there is awareness inside you. According to the yogic traditions, this awareness resides in the Sushumna channel, the central channel. And it's about a pencil width. It's blue, and it goes from the top of your head to your toe, in front of the spine. Just feeling supported by the central channel that allows your awareness to reside in your body. Noticing when you've been distracted, and the intent is neither to repress your thoughts or cling to them. It's simply to notice them, touch them lightly, thinking, nod your attention, your awareness back to your breath, wherever you might find it. I won't chant Hung. Oh. Just noticing your body, your mind, being curious. As that subsides, bring your attention back to your breath. If you're feeling a little bit dull, it might be helpful to take a deep breath starting down in your belly and just bringing in some freshness of that oxygen into your system. Expanding through your rib cage, topping off at your collarbones and holding it for a second. If you're feeling a little bit agitated, it's nice when you reach the top of the breath, just to let it go through the mouth and just let your tension, your anxiety evaporate as you breathe out. Grounding yourself in the feeling supported of earth, feeling supported of your skeletal structure, feeling supported by the central channel. Noises might distract us. Maybe we see something. Maybe we think something. We don't repress it. We don't fight it. We don't try to stop it. If it's pleasant, we don't chase after it either. Just compassionately and aware, we notice it. We touch it lightly. Sound, sight, thought. We come back to the breath. And we'll chant Hung again. As the experience of the home subsides, bring your attention back to your breath. Noticing if you're holding your breath in or not taking full breaths. Letting your exhalation be almost a full exhalation, and then allowing your breath to start at the bottom of your belly, filling your rib cage, your lungs, and topping up of your collarbones. Inhalation and exhalation about the same duration as each other. It is nice to allow for a small pause at the top of the inhalation, at the bottom of the exhalation. So it allows our minds to slow down, making it a little bit easier to pay attention. Noticing if tension, anxiety, discomfort has built back up in your body, and inviting your inhalation into whatever tense areas in your body might be, just to carve out a little bit of space. And as you exhale, just relaxing ever so slightly. Noticing if you're grasping intensely at a particular form that you think you're supposed to have when you're meditating, or a particular behavior, and relaxing around that. No judgment, no suppression, no clinging, just you and your breath and your attention. We'll chant Hong one last time. This last couple of minutes of meditation, I'd like to invite you to meditate with your eyes open. In our tradition, we meditate with eyes open because we don't meditate to run away from the world. We meditate to better show up. And in a gesture of that, we're open to the world with our eyes. gaze cast about 45 degrees down, or just generally down. Not focusing on anything in particular, just kind of open. You don't have to, and I'm just be curious, see how that feels. Thank you for sharing your breath this morning with me. I'm gonna read a passage from this book, but before I'd like to, just something came up for me, and we meditate this fixed like 30-ish minutes here, and I think sometimes what you take home is like, oh, if I don't have 30 minutes or X amount of time to sit down and meditate, I can't meditate, right? Like it's over. But I want to point out that oftentimes Tibetans will say like short and sweet, like just like 1 minute, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, and sometimes it's just like 30 seconds, you put your timer at 30 seconds, okay, you stop for 10 seconds, you go back, or maybe 1 minute or maybe 5 minutes, right? But like little short sessions keep the attention fresh, so, you don't have to be like stiff and oh, I gotta do it. I'm gonna sit down. I'm just gonna pay attention for 30 minutes, right? You can break it up. And then the other thought here is also like it doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It doesn't have 30 minutes. If you have 1 minute, if you have 5 minutes in the middle of the day between meetings or whatever, like you want to sit down and breathe, or pay attention to an inspiring image or whatever grounds you, whatever makes you feel good, go for it, right? It doesn't have to be so rigid. Ideally, the more we meditate, we're actually becoming a little more pliable, more flexible, and our meditation itself should mirror that. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Take him, leave him. I don't know. So I'm reading from this book called "Comfortable with Uncertainty" by Pema Chodron. It's like this little sweet one-pagers, like one chapter is one page. Today I'm reading chapter 18 on page 19. It's called Relax as It Is. It is helpful to always remind yourself that meditation is about opening and relaxing with whatever arises, without picking and choosing. It definitely not meant to repress anything, and it's not intended to encourage grasping either. Allen Ginsberg uses the expression surprised mind. You sit down and wham, a rather nasty surprise arises. So be it. This part is not to be rejected, but compassionately acknowledge as thinking and let go. Then, wow, a very delicious surprise arises. Okay, this part is not to be clung to, but compassionately acknowledged and labeled as thinking, let go. The surprises are endless. Milarepa, the 12th century Tibetan yogi who sang wonderful songs about the proper way to meditate, said that mind has more projections, that there are dust motes in a sunbeam, and that even hundreds of spears could not put an end to that. As meditators, we might as well stop struggling against our thoughts and realize that honesty and humor are far more inspiring and helpful than any kind of solemn religious striving for or against anything. In any case, the point is not to try to get rid of thoughts, but rather to see their true nature. Thoughts will run us around in circles if we buy into them, but really they are dreamlike images. They are like illusions, not really solid at all. They are, as we say, just thinking. So don't believe everything you think. Really? Oh yeah, Book of Names. I forget. We're putting names of whoever we might want to dedicate our merit. We'll read the names at the end, and we'll dedicate our merit to them. If you're at a distance, I think you can just put those names in a chat, and we'll make sure that they get in the book. So a little bit more about this, like just not being so rigid, not just relaxing, right? Like we think all sorts of things, and most of them are never come true and never are not real, right? They're just our illusions. I think oftentimes we also have already made up our minds of what to think or what something is. If you start noticing, I mean, like I talked about opening your eyes when you're meditating, something that happens to me when I do that is I suddenly see things freshly, right? We often like, I look at that cushion, let's say, or I look at this chair, and I'm like, I already know what I expect that chair to look like. I don't allow for my senses to actually perceive it. We're just quickly like, okay, I've already made a conclusion, right? If we relax, if we don't believe everything we think, suddenly we actually start noticing the person, what they said, what just happened, not what we expected, and what we had preconceived thinking of what was going to be, but actually what it is. Anyway, questions, thoughts, concerns? At a distance, here.
I'll share something.
Yeah.
It's like once you really think about how there's only the present and the past is gone already and the future is sort of illusory, you start to realize how much time of your life you spend purely in illusion, like hours and hours and hours of your life basically hallucinating things that aren't real. It's very odd to think about.
It is. I mean, there's thousands of examples, or probably 82,000 examples, right? Which is in Old Indian meaning just infinite, too many to count. But I think worrying is a really relatable one. If you really think about what you were worrying about yesterday, or the last time you worried about something, did it come true? Probably not. At least not how you imagined it, right? How much time have you spent worrying about something that's never going to happen, right? Like how much suffering are you bringing upon yourself by believing your thoughts? It's just an interesting exercise to do. Anyone? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Reed, and I think what you said about really like looking at objects like the couch over there and really noticing them is interesting, since if you sort of glance at something, you're right, you kind of like see it and see what you expect, but then if you pause and really like look at it, there's a lot more details, right, than you might think. Like all the different colors and little grooves and all the kind of ways they fit together. So that's interesting. I think I'm going to try doing that over the next week.
Yeah, and it's an object of meditation too, right? Like anything can be an object of meditation. You're just choosing to pay attention to that, right? So like, I don't know. I really like Tibetan art, so like I'll stare at Tibetan art and start noticing the little intricacies, right? But it could be, Native Americans talk about sitting with trees, and it's not just sitting with. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna sit with a tree. It's like, can you pay attention to the bark and the little subtleties of the bark, right? And it's actually a meditation, right? They don't frame it in that way, but it is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this leaf and the little subtlety of the leaf, right?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I'll have to try it out. So
Yeah. All right.
What you just said about the bark too reminds me, like Harvey talks about this a lot. The Japanese people have many different names for the cherry blossoms because the cherry blossoms have like 18 different stages. And they get very upset with Americans when they say we're going to go look at cherry blossoms because the Americans will spend a few minutes and they're like, ah, pretty flowers. But the Japanese set up a picnic and they know which stage of the cherry blossom it is. And the idea is that you're there for hours to look at the flowers. And, a different mindset, I think, from how we look at trees sometimes. And we're just like, it's a tree.
How beautiful. Yeah, I mean, not to like fantasize or like over, oh, this culture's better and that culture's worse or whatever, right? But just slowing down is like, I think like that's like, to me, like the takeaway is like, what if we slow down, right? And especially, I talked about meditation being an act of rebellion, but I think slowing down in our society is really an act, like a very clear act of rebellion towards the systems of rushing all the time. And part of that is like, can you slow down and notice, like it's like meditation and slowing down start to intermingle, and we start to appreciate the subtleties of, hey, the flower does not look the same way today than it does tomorrow or even an hour from now. Yes.
I like that chapter. I like Pema Chodron because I think she focuses a lot on the relaxing into it, and I think before I even was exposed to her, I didn't relax, and I had the same thing you're talking about, where it's kind of like, oh, I need to be enlightened and whatnot, and it, like her whole permissiveness, I think, is beautiful, and it's like it's really, and it's aligned with Dzogchen too, but even just, she says it as Westerner, so it's really easy to understand. And I really do like that relaxing, and you allow it. You messed up. C'est la vie. Try again. Don't punish yourself. I like that about that chapter and about her in general.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so in a rush to be at the end state, right? And we miss the journey. What did I read recently? It was something, I'm going to misquote it, but I'm going to paraphrase. It's like a good traveler is an intent on arriving, or really has anywhere they're going, right? And that's what we are as humans in this body. We're traveling through space and time, right? Like we're not this intention of like, oh, I got to get somewhere. It's so, it takes away so much of the experience of the present moment. So yeah, relaxing, allowing, making little mistakes, it's okay. If you're present, if you're learning, if you're growing, if you feel good. Cool. Anything else? All right, well, let's dedicate. I think I'll have the book somewhere back there. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forward, born in one enlightened mandala. You'll have the book of names somewhere.
Getting the online.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go
Give me
ahead
a
and make
second.
announcements really quick.
Okay.
So in just a few minutes, we're going to have a little event called Creating Light in Darkness. That I always forget this. Creating Light in Darkness. That is about sort of dealing with feeling like things are going wrong in the world. We have some exciting things coming up. February 20th through the 22nd, we will have our next Dzogchen Cycles retreat. It's going to be Seeing to Being Part 2. If you participate in Part 1, it's going to be a great continuation. If you didn't participate in Part 1, you can talk to me and we can get you Part 1. We'll also have a Losar potluck at 5:30 on Saturday the 21st. Please come enjoy traditional Tibetan New Year activities, and please bring something really good to eat because I love to eat good food. March 7th, we're going to have a one-day workshop called Working with the Inner Critic for Buddhist Practitioners. We'll have Lama Namgyal Dorje as well as a guest speaker who is an expert on the internal family systems, and this will be using internal family systems as a Buddhist practitioner for dealing with self-criticism. We also have an email going out very soon about all of our Dzogchen Cycles event in the next year, including a Drupcho retreat in October, and our May retreat, and the Losar retreat of next year. So that email will go out in the next couple days. So thank you.
So we dedicate the merit to all sentient beings, but in particular today to Rohit, Rong Chen, Valerie, Amy, Tex, Darcy, Nancy, Dad, Robert, Robert's mom, Ginger, Ginger's dad, Bardo, Sherry's healing, Pat's healing, Ruth's healing, Madeline's healing, Karine, Emily, Candace, Shane, Lama Namyal, Nama Sharab, Lama Rinsing, all sentient beings, everyone and other living things, my family, my parents, my pets, myself, Tara, Guillermo, Anita, Bree, Catherine, Mom, Jerry, Lane, Claudia, Mike, Judy, Annie, Cindy, John, Panita, Joe, Pat, Jessica, Christopher, Ann and Mac, people in the United States, Edward and Rachel, Surenka, Laura, animals, victims of oppression. And we close our practice with and just and as we sound we imagine that there's light coming from us to ourselves, from us to everybody in this room, and we're receiving it as well from everybody in this room and not afar. And then we just expand it to wherever your imagination can go. Let your light go there. Thank you again for coming out, sharing your breath this morning with us, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.